Good day, folks. It is +4 here in Fort McMurray this afternoon. I'm sorry for my video being a little bit late, but I'm still under the weather, and yeah, it's been a week. I can say that. Like everything, you know, can go wrong, Oh well, it's a week. What can I say? I was actually hoping to spend some time with my mother this week, but because of illness, I was unable to. And then she took off back down to Edmonton with her friends, so much for that. I had taken a week's holidays to clear up what's wrong with me, and I figure I could have a couple days here at the end of it with her, and yeah, so that didn't work out. So it's one of those weeks this week for me. So I'm sorry that I have been missing videos. Not planned. I hope you checked out the one earlier today. I did one I posted this morning. It was of some pictures I had taken earlier during the summer months. And I'm going to tell you, I am longing for summer. And that was the title of my video that I released this morning, was Longing for Alberta Summer. And I truly am, I can tell you. I'm so done now with winter. I just want to fly the coop. Please pray for me, community, that I don't have no more accidents with my legs this year. I really need to get out of town for a while. I don't know how far I'll get, but like with everyone today, the price and the cost of living is so high that you can barely afford to put the gas in your truck or car to go anywhere. So it is what it is, right? I'm hoping this year that I can get a chance to go into a little bit of BC. I don't know if any of you have realized it or not, but my channel, after it only took me over 5 years to get monetized, and it's not exactly what I thought, but it will take me quite a while yet to get anything back from it, I think. But I'm not deterred. I started this channel because I wanted, I guess to say, do something and complete it. If that makes sense. It seems like in my life I've never fully completed anything, or nothing has ever really worked out. I went through high school and let's just say school itself was hell on earth for me. And because of the issues I had with the school, I had left after my 11th year. It wasn't something I wanted, but here in Fort McMurray, they had a program called the G program. It was where they placed kids where they didn't know what to do with them. So here's my story. When I was 10 years old, my parents moved to Alberta City. And I really did not want to leave my grandparents. And I can remember that day like I'm sitting here now, as plain as anything, the day that a man called Ronnie Mercer came and took us into St. John's to get the airplane to go to Labrador. And I kicked and screamed and I bit my mother. I did everything. I just did not want to leave. But anyway, she looked for me, she found me, she got me in the car, and yeah, it was an hour and a half of me steady screaming. I did not want to leave at all. So we went there, and I went from a small little town in Newfoundland where everyone knew everyone to a much bigger place than I was ever used to ever in my life. And the winters were so cold. Everything was just so foreign. And actually, the only thing saved me that year was my mom. I didn't even know this when we were going because we left in August of that year. I didn't know that she was pregnant. I probably wouldn't have never kicked her or whatever I done at that point. But I did, and yeah. But that year, my mom had my youngest sister, Lorna, and she became what kept me going, I guess you could say. I did not blend too well in with the other kids. I was really withdrawn because I missed my grandparents. And found it hard to get along, and kids were mean. You talk about bullying, well, I've been there, I've been through that. So I went through grade 5. I have to say, a wonderful teacher. I didn't think it at the beginning, but she turned out to be a real sweetie. Her name was Miss Fair, and she was fair to her name. I'm going to tell you. Such a beautiful lady. We should all be so lucky to have teachers like she was in our life. And anyway, made it through that year. The following year, grade 6, I had a teacher that was a teacher from hell. Yeah, there are those out there. The year before that, my teacher had put me down into a class for pronouncing vowels. A-E-I-O-U. It was, yeah, crazy. So, the following year, the teacher that I had from hell, she decided to put me down there too, with this Mr. Anderson. And she put me down in the class when I had geography and science, math, anything that had to do with reading, she would put me down there. So when it came test time, I of course never knew the material because I wasn't being taught it in school. I was just had to figure it out myself. And so that year I was slipping way behind, like 40s and 30s. And it seemed like no one was listening. I wanted to get out of that class. Couldn't get out of it. No way. So, about March or April of that year, there was a big strike down in Labrador City. So, my mom and dad decided that the family, my dad stayed in Labrador City and my mom took us kids back to Newfoundland where we were from. And well, I gotta say, my grades went from 30s to 40s to 85s and 90s. I was home, folks. I wanted right where I wanted to be. And because we were going back to Newfoundland, and the teacher from hell had written down that I should fail, my teacher that I had in Newfoundland decided, because I was going back then, to keep me behind. So yeah, so I'm behind a year, and you have to realize I was the tallest kid in my class. So staying behind another year did not do me any good. It only added fuel to the fire of mean kids. So went back, and sure enough, when school started, they send me down to this Mr. Anderson again to pronunciate my vowels. A-E-I-O-U. So I went down, and he says, "We'll see you tomorrow." And I said, "No, you won't." And he said, "Oh yeah, you'll be back tomorrow." And I said, "No, I won't." So when he came up to the class for me to go down, I absolutely refused to go. I held on to my desk and I just said, "No way am I going." So that year, I improved with my schoolwork and managed to go ahead to grade 7. Now, during that year, we transferred from the elementary schools to the junior high school, or the high school. Went from grade 7 to 12 was in one school, and the school I came out of was up to grade 6. So that was okay. So anyway, grade 7 came, and it was not easy. I'm still in with kids that are mean, and mean again. That year, my grandfather took really sick and had a stroke, and I was worrying so much over him that I could not concentrate on nothing. Plus, the kids were so mean. And I felt like I had nowhere to just go. So I ended up failing again that year. So the next year, I can remember going to school. My very first day, I wore a dress and I had my high heels on, and my blazer and my dress. And this kid comes up to me and he says, "Miss, could you tell me where such and such a class is?" And I said, "Sure, just down there." And here it was, we go in and we sit down, and all these kids thought I was the teacher. Then I sat down in the class with them. Well, yeah. Talk about hell. Hell in school. Yeah. Been there, done that. Because now I was 2 years behind with a bunch of snot-nosed little brats that did everything they could to torment the hell out of me. It was not pretty, folks. And I had a really nice teacher. So that was good. during the spring of the year, we transferred. My dad got a job with Syncrude, and we left ILC. My mother said, enough is enough, strike after strike. Tired of this. Go get a job with Syncrude. So he came over. He went over to Wildbush when Syncrude was out recruiting, and my dad got a job, and that's the story of why we moved to Alberta. So I came here, grade 7. If I had known what I know now, I wouldn't have never went to school that year. I would have just went and registered for grade 10 and bypassed the hell that followed, because they didn't even check for your transferred slips or nothing. And I had lost my transferred slip. They just went in and just registered. Yeah, oh yeah, that's it. Didn't check nothing. But I didn't know, because I could have went right to grade 10, because I went to grade 7, and what they did was, oh well, we don't know really what to do you, and like, I went in, there were no school books here. Absolutely none. The reader that we were reading was what we learned in grade 5 in Labrador City. Now this was grade 7, and they were learning it here in grade 5. Math and everything was way behind. And so that year, I finished off a couple months. They didn't know what to do with me, and their social stuff, everything was so different. And the kids, they were learning from the chalkboard. The teacher would go make notes, and they would have notes. There was no such thing as school books at that point. I don't know what the shortage was there, but there were no school books. This was at Peter Pan School here in Fort McMurray. It's long gone. Good riddance to bad rubbish, in my opinion, on that one. So, when I went to school the next year, well, they said, we want to put you in the 9G program. And I said, 9G program? Well, we don't know what to do with you, because we don't know really at what level you're at or whatever. So, and you're too old to be in grade 7, and we think you should be in with kids more your own age. And I'm like, oh yeah, well, that works for me. Little did I know, folks, that I was signing up for more hell on earth. Because where they put me was in a class that was nothing but kids that were into drugs. It was horrible. We had a couch in our classroom with a stereo, and our curriculum was AC/DC and April wine. We had one teacher that did try to teach, and the rest of them just like, oh well, you guys can do what you want. And our homeroom teacher, she got it in her head that I'm gonna take you to the Yukon, visit my folks. So what did we do? We spent most of that year going out collecting beer bottles to go on a school trip in June. So that's what we did. for grade 9 year. It's like I said, it was a total waste. Total waste of time. So went to the youth con, came back, and then went to grade 10. So when we got in grade 10, it was another extension, of course, of the lovely G program. So we were told, you can't enter into mainstream. You have to take the courses that we say for you to take. And one of the courses was hairdressing. So I took a hairdressing course. I had to have, I don't know, five courses that went at a 10, 20, 30 level. And one of them was beauty culture, hairdressing. Now, I will say, hairdressing is not easy. But anyway, I went and I took the course along with 30 other or 29 other girls from all the mainstream classes that they could go, and they were thought that they could go be doctors and lawyers and whatever else. So it was a joke, I'm gonna tell you. So anyway, I went on to that for first year, second year, third year. The teacher decided, this is my grade 12 year now, my teacher decided that she was only taking 5 students that she considered her top students for that class. Well, guess what? The 3 of us that were in the G program were not invited to be in that 30 class. So that meant I would have had to go back for another year and a half to get attend, or another year. So me, what did I do? I walked into the principal's office, and boy, I'm gonna tell you, I had enough. I really did. I had enough. I went into the classroom, or into his office, and first I was told by the secretary that I couldn't go in, and I said, oh yeah, I want to make a bet. And with that, I slung open his door, and I said to him, I said, what's this all about? And he said, well, Mrs. Steinrath, he only wants to take 5 students and put more effort into them instead. And he said, you're not the only one. And I said, yeah, well, I said, I mightn't be the only one, but I said, it's affecting my life and I've had enough. And I said, I want the class. And he said, no, can't do. This is the way we planned this year. And I said, well, boy, I said, I can tell you what you can do. You can take your blank and blank in school. I wasn't too pleased, I'm going to tell you. And I told him he can take it and shove his up his rear sideways. Yeah. So I left and I quit. I went home, and my mother said to me, what are you doing home? And I told her, well, you can shut your mouth, because I said, you haven't listened to me. I said, in 3 years or longer, you've never listened to me about anything with school. I've been complaining about this G program. You forced it on me. Didn't want to ever be into it. So I'm done. So anyway, I went babysitting, went to work. Well, first of all, I tried to go to Father McMurray's school up here, and the principal that was down at the other school, he put in a complaint against me because, well, apparently all his plaques fell down on the wall after I slammed his door shut, so he wasn't too happy. So he barred me from going to school up at Father McMurray. So yeah. So needless to say, I didn't finish my grade 12 year. And that's why this channel is so important. Because I felt like I didn't accomplish high school. And I laugh because I see all these ones that were supposed to be the ones that were supposed to do marvelous things with their life. They haven't done as much as I've done. He stayed here in this town and did diddly. Some of them had still works at their high school job that they worked at and never went out and did not one thing. Well, I can say I worked as an electrician for 4 years. The only thing is I never had the paperwork behind me because it was all on the job training. I worked for an advertising firm, did a lot of sales type jobs, had my own business, my own store. Hasn't been all that bad, but 5 years ago I was actually looking at wanting to find a way to make extra money. And I was watching this one, Helen from Georgia. She was a craft channel, and I didn't even know nothing about YouTube or anything. I just was watching it because I couldn't afford cable TV, but I had internet. And so I start watching YouTube, all the little shows, cooking shows and whatever came on and all that, and she started saying about how she was becoming financially a little bit freer and all that, and I'm thinking like, wow, like what's she getting on with? So I started investigating a little bit more, and I realized that you can make money with YouTube. Well, I haven't made no money yet. But I've met lots of wonderful people. I've traveled all over Alberta. from one end of her to the other, and from east to west, north to south. And I gotta say, I've had a blast the last 5 years going out and filming. And last year, well, it's been almost 2 good years since I've really gotten a lot of video. Because of my leg injury last year. So, yeah. I am so looking forward to getting out this year. It has been a journey, folks. I have to tell you, it's been a journey. I didn't start this with a lot of backing with family or friends or anything. I don't really have a big circle of friends or a big circle of family. It's just my own immediate family, and they, except for my one brother-in-law, they just kind of laugh it off, I guess. My brother-in-law Blair, I thank him so much that he has always encouraged me to keep going with this. And my mom, she has shared my videos time and time again, and she's been with me on the road. We haven't always seen eye to eye. She doesn't make a really great backseat driver. So we have a tendency to argue when she's there. She's always telling me, it's 30 now, it's 40 now, it's 50 now. Oh, it's 60. Slow down, Shell. Slow down, Shell. It's the kind of thing she's always saying to me, and like it plays on me nerves, folks. I'm gonna tell you, like, all my nerves is gone. But it's all good. When it comes to friends, I don't really have a lot of friends. I do have 3 good friends here in Alberta, but they all don't live here in Fort McMurray. And I have a really good friend of mine lives out in Duncan, BC. I have another one that lives on Prince Edward Island, and I have 3 good friends in Newfoundland. So and 2 of them are ones I grew up with, and another is my dear sweet friend Hazel, who did live here in Fort McMurray, who retired back to Newfoundland. She used to work with me at Safeway when I worked with Safeway. And that's about it for friends. Lots of acquaintances I have. Lots of people that I know. And some of those people have subscribed to my channel, and I appreciate them very much for doing so. But the majority of the subscribers to my channel are people I've never met who have become very dear to me with their comments and stuff every day. It really means a lot. Really means a lot. It's so good to know that you have people that comment that appreciate the work that you do. It really means a lot, folks. I really do appreciate all of you. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Laugh out loud. Yeah. It's a little bit about my background. And you know, if you have kids your own self, they're going through hard times at school, really listen to them, because you know, like with my mom and them, they always looked at me, oh, you're the problem, and I was not the problem, per se. I was just in with a bunch of lot of mean kids. Kids can be so mean. Mean. When you're shy and you're broken down, and like how I was, I hated being away from my grandparents and from a life that I knew, and people just take that shyness and they run with it, right? You only gotta take the bully in the class to set the pace for other kids, and other kids just pick up on it. When you go from grade to grade and you got the same kids all the time, you're dealing with the same ones, it's not easy. So you know, folks, if your kids are having a hard time in school, I would say really listen to them. They know more than you what's going on in their lives. And I'm going to tell you, later in my high school years, my last year there, I thought, man, I could hardly cope with it. It used to be so awful in class between them and the teachers that didn't want to teach you. I tried getting out of that program and getting into mainstream, and no one wants to give you a chance. Nobody. And I'm going to tell you, if it wasn't for the grace of God himself, I probably would have been a goner, because I was at a point where all I wanted to do was drink vodka at that point. I could not exist without drinking a glass of vodka before I went down to face my mother in the morning and to go to school, because I was so worn out with the school system here in Fort McMurray. It was awful at that time. Yeah. Anyway, That's my story. That's my rant for today. I'm looking forward to this summer, folks. Just getting out there and getting some great videos. Anyway, wherever you are today, go see your moms and your dads. Love your spouses. And love your kids. Love them enough to be interested in their life and what's going on with them. It can make all the difference in the world and to the success that they could have, right? So, cheer them on. Be their biggest cheerleader, right? And see your friends, and if you meet someone today that you don't know, smile at them and give them say hi to them. You could be their sunshine in their life. Anyway, folks, this is Shelley DeLitt with Shelley DeLitt Media. I hope everyone has a wonderful and great day. Take care. God bless. I love you all. Bye-bye.